Just restart. So each type of communication has got its own significance. The most effective communication is verbal communication. But at times, written communication can be more effective than spoken communication or oral communication. For example, if you want to share your feelings in a detailed manner, then you would better write a letter to your friend or the person instead of speaking, because when you speak you may not be able to express, you may not be able to share your feelings in detail, and sometimes you may not be able to, or you may not have the courage to tell something to your friend. Then you would better use the written format of communication. Yes. So different circumstances may
Yes.
require different types of communication. So sometimes verbal communication may be more important. Some other times non-verbal communication may be important. As I told earlier, if you are standing in a crowd and if you want to call one of your friends, then sometimes you may not be able to utter, or you may not be able to call him by using your voice. Then you can just raise your hand and you can show the sign or signal to your friend to come to you. So it is on the basis of the circumstance. And sometimes body language can be communicating more. For example, if you have got anger against your son or daughter or brother, then if you show that anger in your eyes, then it will be more effective than verbal communication. So this communication become all the types of communication become effective on the basis of the circumstances. And sometimes you can integrate non-verbal communication with your verbal communication. If you are able to integrate in the proper manner, if you are able to integrate verbal communication with non-verbal communication in the proper manner, then your communication will be more and more effective. For example, if you're speaking something to show your happiness, then if you're able to show the sign of happiness on your face, then it will be more effective. When you want to give some confidence to your students, and if you tell, my dear students, all of you are brilliant, you can do and that, this and that you should show that confidence in your body language. So all the types of communication are important on different contexts, on different circumstances. So these are the three types of communication on the basis of convey: verbal, written, and non-verbal. Then we can look at some other types on the basis of the number of people or on the basis of the receiver, I may tell so. It can be categorized intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, group communication, and mass communication. Yesterday, we told something about intrapersonal communication and interpersonal communication. So I do not want to explain more. Interpersonal communication is the process of communication to oneself. So intrapersonal communication is the process of communicating to oneself. That is inward communication, self-talk. Yesterday we told that this communication will be effective for intrinsic motivation, for taking correct decisions, for getting some relief from some complicated situations, from some sadness, from some miseries, that it will be useful for you to get some confidence, to make your mind more confident to do something. So we are using intrapersonal communication for these aspects. In psychology, you learn about introspection. For getting rid of some psychological problems, one of the psychological methods is introspection. If you're able to talk to your mind in the proper manner, in a psychological manner, sometimes you will be able to get rid of some psychological problems without getting the assistance of a counselor. That is introspection. So all these aspects are there. All these advantages are there when you use intrapersonal communication. So we told all these things yesterday, so I do not want to explain more. Then comes interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is the process of exchanging or sharing information, message, knowledge, feelings, etc. between two people, between two or three people maybe. When we have more than two people, we call it group. But I think that even if there are three people, then we can call it interpersonal communication, because there will be some exchanging of ideas. But in technical aspect, technically we can call interpersonal communication as the process of exchanging something between two people. And this communication is also important. As I told yesterday, if you have to get some advice on selecting some course or selecting some career, then interpersonal communication is more effective, because we have to approach some person who have got more better knowledge on some items. If you go to a career expert, and if you speak to a career expert, it will be giving you more idea, or it will be giving you a concrete idea on different careers. Then you will be able to select a career on the basis of your taste, your aptitude, your lifestyle. And similarly, as I told yesterday, if you want to read some books, then if you meet a person who has got some expertise, who has got some ideas, or who reads lots of books, then it will be more useful for you. And similarly, sometimes you may be in some dilemma, you may be in some sadness, sad situation. Then you will get some relief when you reveal your problem to some of your close friends. So here also interpersonal communication is significant. And yesterday we were talking about, I was telling a story, Katukuti. Musakuti was being called by all others as Katukuti. He hadn't got any opportunity to tell his problems to any person, but the new teacher was ready to listen to him. So he was getting some gradual improvement in the case of his academic as well as personal life. So this is interpersonal communication. It will be more effective on such occasions, on different contexts. Then we talked about group communication is the process of exchanging or sharing information, message, knowledge, feelings, etc. among a group of people. And here you can see the relationship or the effect. I think the feedback will not be more effective or as effective as we see in the case of interpersonal communication. The classroom transaction is an example for group communication. And you will see that in a classroom, sometimes the teacher will be communicating, and at times the teacher may be asking some questions, but the questions are answered not by all the students, but by only a few students. So all the people may not be lively participating in group communication. And it is seen in the group discussion and such things. But still is a type of communication which can be used for giving some general information. It is even if we are talking about individual attention in the case of teaching learning process, we may not be able to give individual attention to each and every one within 45 minutes or 1 hour in a classroom. So we should keep a sort of general idea on students. In your classroom, there may be brilliant students, average students, below average students, then poor students. Yeah. Or outstanding students, excellent students, very good students, poor students, very poor students. Then you should keep this one in your mind. And when you communicate inside the classroom, you should consider the brilliant students as well as the very poor students. And on the basis of your understanding of this diversified classroom, in the case of intelligence, you should select a way for communicating. For example, if you're a college teacher, sometimes actually medium of instruction at higher level of education is English language. But when you go to college, sometimes in your classroom, there will be some students who haven't got any capacity in understanding what is communicated in English language. Then you may have to use bilingual method. So group communication is a sort of a type of communication where a group of people are getting together. And see, mass communication is communicating to lots of people, mass of people. But we do not call conference, seminars, and such programs mass communication. We do not include these things in mass communication because we see the audience there. It is the first thing. Then the thing is that we know the audience. Maybe thousands of people are there, but still it is included in group communication. It is not told as mass communication. Mass communication is communication done to a mass of people by using mass media. Because there is no contact between the communicator and the receiver. You will not get any sort of feedback. You are not seeing anything. Even if you are communicating to a mass of people in a conference, you can know that whether they are enjoying or not. Because if they are enjoying, sometimes they may be clapping their hands. If they are not interested, then they may be making noise. As we told Kukal, they may be making noises. So conferences and seminars also can be included in group communication. and see the more the group size is, or the bigger the group size is, the effective or communication will be lesser. With the increasing of the size of group, communication, effectiveness of communication becomes lesser, because communication becomes more effective only when there is instantaneous feedback or immediate responses from the receivers. So if the group is large, then you cannot see such a sort of immediate response from all the receivers. Yes, got it? So this is group communication. Then comes the last category, mass communication. Mass communication is the process of exchanging or sharing information, message, knowledge, feelings, etc. to a large number of people by making use of mass media. And here, the most important factor is that you never see your audience. Actually, you are speaking something to some atmosphere. You are speaking something to some blank space. You do not see anyone, but you imagine in your mind someone is going to listen to me, or someone is going to read my stories, someone is going to read my novels. There is no immediate feedback. There is no contact between the communicator and the receivers. We are using different mass media there. So, if I ask you whether social media communication or online chat can be considered as mass media communication. I mean, direct chat. Yes. Yes, leave this question there. I will ask this question later in this class. Okay. So I think that you have got some idea on different types of communication. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. Then now, there are different types of mass communication. Who will tell? Who will list different types of mass communication? This question goes to Mariam B. Mariam B, can you tell us what different types of mass communication are? Yes, Mariam B.
Sir,
Just
through newspapers.
Newspapers, journals. Then this one can be included in a single term. What is it?
Media.
Print media communication. Yeah. Yes. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Print media communication. Then any other categories? Print media communication is there is a type of mass communication or mass media communication. Then
Social media.
the social media communication. Yes, then
Television.
television and radio are there. In which term we can include media? So I'm at electronic
Visual media.
Mass communication.
media,
Visual media.
electronic media communication. It's right, Mariam, you are right. So there are types of mass communication. There are 4 types of mass communication. First one is print media communication. Print media communication is offering a large number of people access to information, message, knowledge, etc. through print media like newspapers, magazines, journals, books, right? So there is print media communication. It offers large number of people access to information, message, knowledge, etc. through the print media like newspapers, magazines, journals. And we will talk different aspects of media during your 4th semester when talking about the role of print media, role of electronic media, role of different such media in the case of education. And here we just tell something about print media communication to tell it is a type of mass media communication. So print media communication is there. Then electronic media communication. Electronic media communication again is offering large number of people access to information, message, knowledge, etc. through the electronic media like TV and radio. And this print media communication and electronic media communication have got a limitation. That is, there is no direct contact between the communicator and the receiver. Actually, there is no feedback. Sometimes some people may be writing some letters to the editor of the newspaper. And that too after a number of days. So these are 2 types of mass media communication, print media communication, then electronic media communication. Then comes online communication. Online communication again is offering large number of people access to information, message, knowledge, etc. through the online platforms such as websites, online books, online journals. Yeah. Then I may ask you a question. I may repeat the question which I asked earlier. Will you consider online chatting as mass media communication?
No.
No. Why? Why?
That is interpersonal communication. There is a media, of course, but we are transmitting our idea to one person.
So here it comes to importance because actually all the online communication pieces are not mass communication. Now we are communicating. Okay, I am here and you are there. We are using an online platform, but we are communicating in a group. Okay, we are a group. So this is a sort of group communication. Though we are not meeting in person, actually we are communicating to each other. Our communication is not reaching mass of people. Got it? Large number of people. Only a few people are there. So this online chatting cannot be considered as mass communication because only a few people are there. So all the online communication pieces are not included in mass communication. But if you are publishing something in your website, or if you are publishing an online book or online journal, or if you are writing a blog, it can be included in online mass communication. Yeah, got the idea? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Then comes what Mariam B mentioned, social media communication. The process of sharing and exchanging ideas, information, knowledge through discussion and debates on the social media platforms such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, Twitter. Is Google search engine is Google search engine a social medium? Yes. Do you believe that Google search engine is a social media? Tell me.
No, sir.
That's only a tool.
No, sir.
That's a
This
search
you
engine
should
only.
you should be careful, because in knowledge and curriculum paper during the fourth semester there is a topic social media and education, and I always saw this one. Most of the students answer questions such as write the importance of social media in education or in educating people or in scholastic development of the students. Most of the people will be including Google, then video, PowerPoint, everything in social media. Actually, these are not social media. Why do we call Facebook, WhatsApp, Telegram, Twitter, etc. social media? Why do we call them social media? Can you answer this?
It's a platform that
Yeah.
we are addressing many people.
Interacting platform. We can interact with people.
Yeah, there is interaction.
Two-way communications
Yeah,
can be seen.
yeah, there is interaction. There are lots of people. Think about newspaper. If you write a news in a newspaper, no one else or no receiver can reply to you directly. Okay. There is no society, there is no discussion. But when you use a social platform, if you post something, anyone in this world can respond to that post. So there is a discussion, just like you're sitting in a coffee shop. You can make a discussion in a social on a social platform, just like you are making a discussion with others by sitting in. Yes, I think you got the idea. Okay. We call it social media because in traditional media platforms, there is no discussion. There is no mass discussion. Though the information or something like that is transacted to lots of people, hundreds of people or thousands of people, there is no immediate feedback. There is no direct contact between the writer or between the communicator and the receivers. But on social media platforms, if I post something on Facebook, on the spot, anyone in this world can respond to that post with some feedback. So we call it social media. Yeah. So these are some mass media communication. And see if there is a private chat by using WhatsApp or by using Facebook or by using any such social media platform, then it cannot be included in mass communication. Again, it becomes interpersonal communication or group communication. For example, if you have got a WhatsApp group and if you are communicating something there, actually it's a group communication. But in Facebook, on Facebook, you can see that if you make your post watchable by anyone in this world, then only it becomes mass communication. But if you're posting something only in your group, then sometimes we may have to consider it as group communication. So these are the different types of mass communication. So we have told different categories of communication. On the basis of the method, or way of communication, we can categorize communication into verbal communication, written communication, and non-verbal communication. On the basis of the nature of receivers or the number of people, you can categorize communication into 4 as intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, group communication, and mass communication. Each type of communication has got its own significance on the basis of different contexts. As I told, if you have got a secret, you will not be able to reveal that secret in a group. Sometimes you may be able to reveal a secret only to your intimate friend. So there comes the significance of interpersonal communication. And similarly, if you have got a problem, then again, interpersonal communication may be helping you, because if you reveal your problem in a group, sometimes some people may be mocking at you, some people may be ridiculing you, then your problem will be, it will be increased, okay? The degree of your problem may be increased. And sometimes intrinsic motivation becomes more effective than extrinsic motivation. For example, if you get some praise from your father for achieving something, sometimes you may be doing something for achieving something. But at times, if you feel a sort of mental satisfaction in your mind when you are achieving something, and this is called achievement motivation. And such motivation comes from our inner mind. And sometimes we may be overcome some difficult situations to speak to ourselves. As I told yesterday, if we tell, yes, we can do that. If we tell that, Helen Keller, if we tell to our mind, Helen Keller was a bride. At the same time, she was deaf. Moreover, she was dumb. So if Helen Keller, if such a person can achieve wonderful things in the life, then why don't I? Why don't you? So intrapersonal communication. Then group communication will be significant if we want to give some general instructions to a group of people, just as classroom teaching, seminars, workshops. Then by having a general idea of the audience, maybe different types of audience are there, but by keeping some general concept of the audience, we can make use of a particular method for communicating to a group. So group communication is there. And if you want to reach our knowledge, if you want to reach our information, if you want to reach our discovery, a large amount of people, a large number of people, then mass communication can be used. We can write articles on newspapers, or we can broadcast something on television. We can broadcast something on radio, or we can write blogs. Then our ideas will be reaching thousands of people all over the world. And such a type of communication, making use of different mass media for making our ideas reach a large number of people, is known as mass media communication. So I think you have got a clear-cut picture on different types of communication, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.